As she described the night, she believes they took everything: her freedom, her reputation, her voice. And it all tied back to that moment at Pure nightclub. "You know what's worse than losing your mind?" she said. "Being told you did, when you know someone else caused it." Britney described waking up the morning of September 9th, 2007, just hours before the VMAs, with her entire body trembling. Her coordination was off, her muscles weak, her memory fragmented. "I wasn't hungover," she told the court. "I was tampered with." She testified that after the performance, where she was mocked relentlessly by the press, she was rushed back to her hotel. That's when Lou Taylor called her directly for the first time. "You need structure," Britney remembered her saying. "We can help you." Lou then allegedly offered to arrange treatment and media damage control. But there were strings attached. Within a week, Britney said her legal documents began changing. Power of attorney started shifting. And suddenly, people she never hired were managing her medical and financial decisions. Then came a crucial revelation. Britney claimed that she later learned Diddy had called Lou Taylor directly after the VMAs. He told her, "I was too far gone." He said the public saw what they needed to see. Britney paused, swallowing hard. That's how fast it happened. One night, one performance, and suddenly, I didn't own my life anymore. She then testified that the same night, someone had tried to contact her. Someone from the venue staff who allegedly witnessed her collapse backstage and tried to report it. But they never got through. I was told later that Diddy had connections with every major media outlet that covered the VMAs that year. That's why the narrative shifted so fast. From "she had a bad night" to "she's out of control." That narrative justified everything they did next. Her voice rose slightly. "I didn't break down. I was taken down." The room remained still, stunned. Jurors blinked slowly, some visibly emotional. Britney leaned forward, her hands steady for the first time. "And Diddy? He wasn't just a guest at the VMAs, he was the architect." The courtroom sat frozen as Britney revealed a piece of evidence no one expected. "I was told for years that no video existed of that night," she began. "But they lied, and I saw it." She testified that during her final months under the conservatorship, a former TriStar employee contacted her anonymously. They claimed to have seen raw, uncut security footage from the night of September 8th, 2007. The night she attended Diddy's party at Pure nightclub. The footage, according to the source, was never released, never mentioned in any investigation, and never logged by hotel security. Because it didn't go through hotel security, Britney said, it went straight to Diddy. She testified that in the footage, she could be seen dancing briefly, drinking from a flute handed to her by a man in a gray suit. She remembers that man. She didn't know his name at the time, but years later, she identified him in a photo as one of Diddy's close assistants. In the video, Britney said she begins to stumble, then sits down, visibly disoriented. A group of men surrounds her. A few minutes later, she is led out of the frame. It cuts off before anything else happens. But it's enough, Britney told the jury. It shows I wasn't in control. It shows I didn't walk out of that club on my own. She described how this footage was allegedly shown to Robin Greenhill and others inside TriStar's office, not to help her, but to file it away as insurance. Leverage. Proof that Britney Spears was unfit. They didn't destroy that footage, she said. They stored it, like a trophy. Britney then claimed the anonymous whistleblower told her that TriStar and its affiliates had dozens of similar tapes, not just of her, but of other artists. She said the tapes were referred to internally as insurance reels. They filmed girls at parties, at hotels, in bathrooms, Britney said, trembling. And Diddy had access to all of it. He didn't just film me, he kept me. She paused, then looked directly at the jury. Do you understand now why I couldn't get out? Why every time I tried to speak, they had something to hang over me? That performance at the VMAs? It wasn't a meltdown, it was evidence. Evidence that they used to lock me away. She turned toward Diddy for the first time. And you watched it all happen. You let it happen. And now you don't get to hide behind money and champagne. As Britney gave her final testimony, her voice no longer shook. It rang out, not just with pain, but with fury. I want to say this clearly for the record, she began. I am not crazy. I was caged. She looked at the judge, then at the jury. They made me a joke. They painted me as unstable. And when I cried out, they told the world it was part of the breakdown. But I wasn't breaking. I was screaming. She testified that after the conservatorship was enacted, she was monitored 24/7. Her calls were recorded. Her medications were controlled, her children were taken, and her earnings sent straight to a network of corporations and managers who all had one thing in common: ties to TriStar. And through TriStar, ties to Diddy. I lost $100 million while locked in that cage. They say it was to protect me. But what they were really protecting was their system. She described how, even after the conservatorship ended, she felt unsafe speaking out. I was told Diddy had people, that if I opened my mouth, I'd disappear again. So I stayed quiet. Until now. Then came the moment no one expected. Britney pulled out a folded note, handwritten, visibly worn at the edges. She told the court it was a letter she wrote in 2009, but was never allowed to send. I wrote this to Diddy. I was 27. I was still trying to understand why someone I barely knew could have had such a big role in ruining my life. She read aloud, I hope it was worth it. Whatever they promised you, because you helped them hurt me. And I don't know if you'll ever admit it, but I know you did. I saw it in your face the night you toasted me before the VMAs. You knew I was being set up, and you smiled. The room was silent. Even Diddy didn't move. Britney folded the note and put it back in her pocket. I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for fame. I'm doing this because I want my kids to know the truth. I want them to know their mother wasn't a failure. She was framed. She turned back toward the judge. For 14 years, I begged for someone to listen. Now you have. Don't look away again. And with that, Britney Spears stood up, thanked the court, and walked out. Not as a pop star, but as a woman who finally told the story they tried to bury. Diddy didn't speak. he couldn't, because for the first time, he was the one being watched.
If you're enjoying this story, kindly do us a favor and subscribe to our channel. It is free and won't cost anything, but it means the world to us. We're just a small channel trying to grow. Thank you.